Okay. Hello, everyone. Wow, okay, I'm live right now.
Yeah, you are
on a phone. This is strange. Hey, hello, everybody. I'm Chris. I'm from England. We met last week, if you were listening. I'm the token Englishman on Nomad Connection on Sunday and meeting some people of the world and talking about Colombia, people who may not know much about Colombia, but kind of, Paul is to kind of have some different perspectives and what Colombia is. Yeah, and I've got a little... Oh yeah, okay, welcome to episode 2, where we're going to be talking about the Colombian peace talks of life, day-to-day life for a lot of Colombians, and has really for the last 50 plus years, and life as well, just to make the whole thing serious and formal, so you guys can have a fun. And so I go into the room now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Right, so I'm going to walk into the room. Hello, everybody. We're on the...
Hello.
Hola.
Okay, right, okay, cool. So, I introduced myself. Oh, we got 7 people. So yeah, we're going to talk about the peace talks, right? And in Colombia, that's the plan. So, anybody want to kick us?
Introductions.
Oh, you got to do introductions, yeah, of course. So,
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Pilou from Martinique.
Daniel
Oh,
from
God,
Germany.
Germany.
Mandish, Sydney. Marcela, Mexico. Rebecca,
It's a big
Germany.
widescreen.
Janelle, US.
Cool, alright, so now that that's taken care of, we can start with
We can start with the
that
peace
people
talks.
sent in so that we can have something to talk about to start with. It's as good a starting point as any. So does anybody have a perspective on that?
Well,
From your perspective, when you all moved here, I guess, when the people...
yeah. It's been 2 years, no?
It's been 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. Colombia's had a 50-year-old civil war. Yes, it's happening now as well. But finally, they want to strike a peace deal within the FARC and the Colombian government.
Which I don't really understand.
I
I don't really know what the answer to that.
I don't really know.
I hope you learn
Oh, sorry, okay.
Okay. Basis to start off with. Anybody else got any perspectives?
Well, actually that it's been going on for years. They are involved in the whole politics, and therefore they have and maybe that's also why it's getting even more difficult to finish a result, to finish the peace talks, because there's a lot of interest, a lot of money. It's difficult to it's not that easy, like Israel.
It's a tricky thing because most of the main actors within the conflict, nobody who's involved really benefits peace as much as the normal population, like you said, would. I mean, it's the average, it's like most over the normal people, day-to-day
apparently
people.
it's like 212 because of the war, and 80% of them have been. It is.
And 5 million of people have been displaced in Nepal from the countryside coming to the bigger cities around. Problem because then it organizes like passing on the mountains of the cities, like in Bogota, as you can see, it's like for the daily life to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Bogota's population boom is 50,000 people in the 40s, just in the 1940s.
Even at the turn of the century, there was only like 4 or 5 million, I think.
2000, yeah.
Yeah, the past 15 years, it's grown double.
Because now there's what, 8 million?
There's 8 million.
Almost 10. And I mean, really, you can almost include Chia and Soacha and all these other borderline anymore. They all bleed into one, don't they, really? On this side of the room.
I wasn't prepared for the camera.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't forget the trafficking in that whole conflict, because that's like the entry, like both sides. Like you have politicians being involved, like highly involved in drug trafficking. So
Seeing the FARC so far.
Yeah, and also it was like, I think he asking for these talks. Like it was one of the reasons, for example, because they knew that he was promoting this. And so they.
I don't know. You see, I'd say
they're-
about half of the population.
I was gonna
are
say the
optimistic,
same
because
thing.
some has breadth, and if you go around and talk to people, especially outside of the big, there's a lot of opposition, strong opposition to the peace talks. Most people they don't, because the peace talks. There's been peace talks twice before, aborted peace talks and ceasefires. They were offered to rearm, retrain, and come back stronger. They've not been in the past about.
Yeah, so maybe it's not really trustful, but the fact that they want peace.
To be honest, I think it's come to a point where something has to give, because the FARC are down to the early 2000s. They could have won. They were around Bogota. Colombia could have become they can't win. So what's the most dangerous thing when you have a wounded animal is like saying themselves. But the point is that when somebody knows that they haven't got much, become more dangerous. The bombs start. Do you know what I mean? Like if they know that it's kind of the bombs start going off in the cities again. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing, and the war intensifies. It has to happen.
But I think the way the peace talks are going and what they've agreed on, so resistance against the peace talks, because a lot of people they're just getting away with a lot of crimes because they're going with the combatants.
Interesting.
Which is interesting, but also it's like saying that if they confess,
compromises.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But here's there will never be peace.
Yeah,
You will never reach an agreement.
But here's the issue. So from what I've read, there are like 3 different levels of the level of punishment where they're like, hey, if you say you did it, if you don't say you did it, and then you end up going to, we find you guilty, then you're gonna get a little slap on the wrist. We're a little upset, and we find you guilty, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even if I didn't do anything, I would just say I did it.
It's not as simple as no jail. I mean, the 3 levels are with admission, confinement, not jail, confinement of some sort, with certain level.
But what is confinement?
Confinement. Well, I don't know. I mean, it would be confinement. So so the leaders of the FARC couldn't just come out and be in crimes and they admit to doing it. It's 5 to 8 years when they're confined. That means without the general prison or a jail, it's some way of keeping them out of society. 20 years jail time if you don't admit and then are found guilty. And the middle ground is.
Also, another thing is financially, the cost of.
It was a funny comment, but I'm not allowed to say that word. No, I can't say it. I'm a white man. I'm not allowed to say it. I'm not allowed to say it. I can't say it.
Then handed? No.
I can't say it. It's not this. Carry on.
Anyway, that's just the financial aspect of into civil society also is going to be. Where is the government going to get finance the psychological
the whole social program, no?
program of
We have generations of groups.
exactly.
So if you put at least 2
There's
new
someone that can
generations
pick it up.
surging and
So if you were a victim.
But I think that's where the risk that these people aren't going to get what they the justice.
Tell them about falsos positivas.
False positives.
Falsos positivos.
Please.
Falsos positivos is like, very big. There was a lot of promotion for the official army when they would get a lot of in combat in battle. They would get permission to go out, and basically this incentive actually killed innocent people in the country as if they were soldiers from the FARC. These rewards kind of somehow, and a lot of innocent people are this way.
They say 10,000 minimum, up to possibly up to 20.
Surrender.
And how much rage they might feel so something just because of politics, a wrong policy president, and I mean this is all not easy with this rage they might feel, and then just to integrate them again. But at this journal of the university, and then they did some questionnaires about the approval or disapproval of just the population is in favor of just taking them back, but then, for example, they were of letting them form a political party.
They're going to have a referendum as well held after the fires did that, so the Colombians will vote on whether they.
This is the thing. I don't understand. We are in the end of October now. We reached an agreement in March.
They've set a date, March
2016.
I saw pictures with them
they've agreed on four points.
Justice, which is the key point.
They're going to reach agreement in
Well, because it's basically talking about previous issues, because they've, like you said, they've reached 4 of 6. That was the one that was the real sticking point. And they've estimated that with the talk guide and 6, that they think that within 6 months they can have deals.
FARC is saying they're going to arms within 60 days of the final date.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they also said that there will be a metro in 2015.
Sport with you, isn't it?
I'm sorry. I like to talk about.
Get out of the jungle to the city, metro.
The local elections they decide a lot.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, we have a piece of paper.
It's how are they? Come with a question.
Yes.
It's really hard to get to. It's hard. I mean, and that's why it's in the middle of nowhere with very.
I mean, partly, but I mean, they were bad.
But
They were in the
what I'm
wars
saying,
behind
right
borders.
now, is that are hard to reach. who's going to out of all of them?
Yeah.
Well, this is one of the problems, isn't it? It's the same thing that happened with the paramilitary, is that the average paramilitary was just a kingdom behind them or a bit of
Isn't
money
that
to
like
be
what
made.
FARC is right now as well?
It depends. I mean, the problem is that their central command is quite fragmented as well. So there isn't just one, do that, you do that, and we'll do that, break. You know, they're off in tiny pockets of under their own local leadership rather than sort of the secretary.
Currently there's 7,800 are official combatants. However, around like they don't know an exact number, but anywhere near 10,000 just like sidelined,
like scattered.
Yeah, scattered.
Peace talks benefit the FARC's leadership a lot more than they did the average FARC. But hey, I mean, they'll be confined for 7 years. They're all millionaires, a lot of connections, and most of them will come back and they'll be politicians or they will get bodyguards. They'll be okay. But how do you tell some 16-year-old kid join the FARC in the jungle? Oh, we're not doing this thing anymore. So
go back to
it's quite, and go back to a town where people probably hate you as well. There's probably people in their towns that have been victimized by the FARC.
The victims aren't violence. The victims are also the people who are forced
into the war.
Especially as the country, I mean, the local elections today say, I mean, the country is looking at a big swing. Uribe's very, very conservative right-wing party. You know, local policy. How do you tell somebody who's a mass those policies when Colombia's law is really fragmented around the laws don't get upheld in the same way that they're supposed to a lot of the time.
I don't know how it's going to work out, but one of the 4 is about the illegal drug trade, which finances the disband that operation completely. But I mean, who's there to
pick it up?
Exactly.
Who's
like, who takes over that?
Because obviously, who have nothing else to do. It's gonna turn into gang violence.
Yeah,
I think.
Gang violence is. It's hard to say, I suppose. It's almost weird when you have a product like that. So I think, at least with the lack of the political violence, you know, start to at least build political bridges. Maybe Colombia can have a legit for the first time ever, really. I mean, that's been one of the issues with the FARC, is that it's been poisoned in Colombia. If you're vaguely left-wing, people won't touch you. They won't go sort of Marxists in the jungle. So actually, maybe if peace happens, I agree with him, it's like, okay, but if you're voting for peace, you're voting to maybe implement, you'll have an option you do like to vote for. Somebody who's actually...
Another thing that goes on is the people with money.
Yeah.
Like, they're fanatic over him. So, the future elections, future decisions.
Money, we can talk about it. I don't have a lot.
You can't vote either.
We could vote today in the local elections. We couldn't if you
lived here for 5 years.
Yeah, you have to be resident. Yeah, but I mean, foreigners do have the right within the...
I just feel like it's going to be a continuing cycle, especially with the way that...
I think it's just the systemic, really, just it goes so deep that you can't, the society, be like, okay, we have money, you don't. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it has to be some sort of revolutionary change.
Exactly. Like,
you guys say that?
I mean, someone can disagree with me.
No, I mean, I think part of the problem is just that Colombia, there isn't really a Colombian peace in the way that we understand peace. I mean, the FARC formed in 1964. The violence, as it was known, which started in 1948, and prior to 1948, power sharing, murdering in the countryside, going back to the Thousand Days War at the turn of life, who really knows what it's like to be completely at peace change, I think. It's not like there's a generation of people who are like, oh, we want it to go back to really before that. People remember that was how we might see.
Conflicts, like in Europe, for instance, are actually really quick in like resolving interstate conflict. So you shouldn't like say, oh, I don't know, in the last 2 years, like,
what are you doing?
You know, it's a good way, like. But you have to put it on time because it's also like graphic.
Yeah, and maybe just like bringing a little to everything. This is changing socially. Like I think Colombian mindset in a way. Like before, it was all about just thinking on the present, and that's also related with the topic that we're going to discuss. I'm really like trying to enjoy the present because they didn't know they would have a week of tomorrow, no? But now it's more, I don't know, like something to dream about in the future. So you did like that change before. We're just like present oriented to now focus on the future.
Yeah, definitely. Because also political Colombia is getting system, so it's like it opens up.
Yeah.
I think people started to realise what you were saying, basically. I think in the 80s and 90s, people didn't really, coming from so many different sides, I don't think people really realised, hey, this generations are starting to, Colombians are opening up more to the world, they're travelling more, the world's coming more to, we don't have to I think that's why people were quite impatient with the peace talks, even though I agree with the breaking pace compared to other world peace talks, and you can't rush it. But the thing to that point where they're like, this can be different, you know, hurry this up because get this done. Because the last time they've tried to get peace talks done, nothing's done by the FARC and the government before on the peace talks. Just, you know, but
Lighter topics. Do you want to take a general opinion poll of if we think it's good?
I think it'll happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will happen, but there'll be a lot of things that need to be figured out. Like it's going to be.
Something is sure for me is that maybe we're gonna have 23rd, but not peace. That's
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
This is gonna take.
BLM.
But exactly, there's some guerrilla group not even at the table.
And that's benefits, etc.
That's the most important thing, I think. Education is the most important thing. Because if Colombia towns out in Cundinamarca, in the department we're in now, you have small towns, the state is the complete absence of anything associated with, say, schools, anything like that.
Like anything controlled if the implemented.
But I don't mean...
You don't have state control.
I don't understand what you mean.
Yeah. There's no state control.
There's no state control.
Oh, yeah,
But this opens up to occur. Yeah. I feel.
What about the state actually looking outwards? Because Colombia is the most inward-looking country. It's like everyone else looks in, and Bogota stays looking in on itself. It doesn't look out. Cachacos, they're all Bogotanos anyway. They focus completely on the city. You go into the small lack of basic functions that the state really should be providing. And so young kids are always going to look for ways to elevate their circumstances, or gangs, if there's no real hope for that. And also the Colombian government, someone from the Choco, has the chance to have a decent enough education to maybe be able to just through that. It's like a system of oppression that's just entrenched in the system. If you don't, they never have the opportunity to go and do that stuff anyway. Doesn't mean they can't, they just didn't have
it. Says, do you think peace is attainable with so many different views? The masses, if everybody is so certain in their views.
For the second one, like for example, at the school I work at, there's a math teacher from the coast, and he quit his job, making a real to start a math institute. And he's only able to do that because it's become more recent years. So, social responsibility.
Yeah, social importance, like just the meaning of education, that what you can really make out of your life, like you know, try to aspire for more, something that every family needs to encourage.
Well, in that way, I think it's gonna be hard to happen because I feel like their career, the way they're gonna study and stuff in Colombia, we have to get a better situation that's good already. It's just this goal that is a lot of people in our generations.
Yeah.
While a lot of people maybe in Europe, in Australia, what is it that makes sense?
Yeah.
How am I educate myself to be able to do that? Which is about education.
I mean, maybe I'm a terrible socialist, but I do think that people empowering themselves is a great thing, and that needs to happen. But if you go to Colombia, the extent of the problem can't be achieved. Individuals changing their attitude. I mean, it helps, and it really does help. I mean, it has to be more. It has to be the state in Colombia. The amount of money involved is staggering. That would need to. A population of almost 50 million people, and divided and so entrenched in this conscience that the state has to invest vast money. For example, you talk about false positives. I mean, that goes up going towards you guys' country, but I mean, that's where false positives came from, because of body count. That's the root of false positives. And I think that, in other countries around the world too, that should building effort, as heavily it's been revolved, effort to eradicate everything, do you know what I mean? Some of us, I mean, the US, quite simply, in a politically, it's its only strong ally in the entire region, particularly in South America. And if you want to play the global politics game, you look after your allies, right? You look after your friends, and you haven't got a generation of disenfranchised young people. I mean, it's a weird comparison, but it's similar to it's a different kind of context. But but not really making it clear, and also not investing money in the right things. Not investing any money in schools and roads.
More youth should be given open gateway to politics. I feel new ideas come if you allow they give chances to obviously, but people who have the determination. You can't full of old people, I feel.
Colombia's one of the most oligarchic countries with 11 families that have run it. Exactly. And they all have the same things over. You don't go into the government and you find the same surnames. You find Belal Cantos. You don't find somebody called in the government. It sounds like a horrible thing to say, but you can just names in those things, and it's all the same old. So the people have been running the country since they were given land in Colombia. It's remarkable how strong, completely intact the oligarchies are. But I think it's partly because the war kind of benefits those people, because it allows them to consolidate people against a common enemy and distract them from their option and abuse of the system. It's like, yeah, but look at the FARC, they're terrible. And everyone's like, oh yeah. I'm sure you just shift focus, right? But right, so let's move on because we're all
Should we stop karaoke?
Okay, now you'll understand why Daniel is so quiet. Because just like having a splendid, which is a handgun.
Yes.
Let's explain why
What is guayabo?
Who can explain?
A Colombian
Guayabo
hangover.
is that wonderful pick up after having slept at 4 in the morning. And there's so many deeds that you wish you hadn't.
I like.
I feel like I should take this back now so that you can actually be involved because you guys are also the dancers of our. Probably more relevant to you than to me. I'm an English party. You guys, you know, when you buy. So basically, we have. So the first question that people had was of having an active social life.
I think
Wow, it depends where you go out because it's kind of a privilege for things. If you go to North, go out like on a really hype zona tea.
I like that you do that.
Never do that.
I think it's even like expensive as Europe.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's definitely 1,000 for the entrance.
Yes.
So here's the thing, I get that because now that I've been here is a big deal to me because I know what 30,000 is getting. But when I first got here, I was like $10 and $20 to get in a club in the U.S. Very common to pay $15 or $20 to get into a club.
Yeah, but people here, it's very.
No, I get.
Well,
So
because we all do different things.
Right?
So many groceries.
30,000 will get far.
Somebody else and still pay for question that on top of the 30,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, we're talking over focus.
Well played.
It's your beer, right? You get a
Yeah,
beer, a ticket, a coupon, you pay a lot of money.
Yeah.
For drinks.
Like for example, a beer in that place when you have the beer will be 10,000. No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a light or something rubbish like that because people here are obsessed with branding. When Starbucks opened up here, they queued over when they were independent coffee bars producing Colombian coffee. They want to Instagram their stupid little logo on their cup.
Because imports a lot of, import feed to sell in Colombia.
I know that is true, but if you go to from the Starbucks that opened on the 93 is as the best baristas in Colombia and it's cheaper and everything.
Yeah, back to the party. Trying to stay on topic. I get it.
But also the zone of tea,
Yeah.
you could be anywhere in the world when you're in the zone of tea. It's
Exactly.
not just Colombian
It's not
clubs.
authentic at all.
No, that's
No.
kind of like this gringo night out. Then you're going to
Exactly.
pay a lot of Colombian night out. You're not going to pay.
The Colombian night out.
Yeah.
Maybe we should find that.
I think the zone of tea can be a Colombian night out. It's
No,
just
it is.
I just don't enjoy those kind of places. I don't enjoy those places. I could be anywhere in the world here. I like the fact.
Colombian clubs. You have in
In international clubs.
well, forget about all the clubs you have.
Better music. Let's clarify.
I mean, come on. I mean, that's a perspective. I mean, Berlin. Come on, you go to Berlin and hear some electronic music in the world if that's your thing. You know.
Right,
Yeah,
so you don't like it. So it doesn't necessarily mean music, but it does seem like it's for sure.
Yeah, but we talk very subjectively. Thank you. Thank you for clear.
This is that kind German nature she discussed listening last week. She's quiet.
Well,
I'm sorry. No, people.
like there's awesome music called reggaeton.
I'm going to tap the screen. Just so myself. It's not awesome. It's really, really bad. Okay.
Very like innocent people there who do not have yet this reggaeton. The best way you can like your energy. No, but it's actually like music. Like it's
Watermelon.
no, it's like a mix of I would say like Spanish speaking rap and very like hard beats. But it's great. Daddy Yandel,
Nicky Jam.
J Balvin, Nomad, they all good.
So the point of this was she really liked.
Well,
But I don't see that saying sort of traditional Colombian night out. I
But
think that's the
yeah,
crack in the
but-
clubs. You know.
if you're partying in Latin, you just you can't party. This is like the party culture in Latin America. Or not, that's another thing. But reggaeton is in Latin America.
Well, it's a
Yeah,
part.
what is
It's
the
a part.
It's a part.
You have to clarify that
Yeah.
there are a lot of music
Music,
style,
yeah, totally.
music dance, and you're gonna have like rock, electrical salsa, and kizomba. So, what is good in I think in Bogota you can really find like everyone is find something really interesting.
Yeah, because I go out and listen to reggaeton. To be honest,
Interesting about like Colombian culture, for example, like even though we are like Latin American, like certain type of people, for example, so just speaking about Mexico City, not the whole country. Certain type of people is like music, for example, like you have these kind of hipster people who will all electronic music and techno and all these kind of things. Who will not dance, for example, like there is not their parents don't make effort trying to these guys. No, at least that happened in Mexico, like the same music. But I think everybody, if you go to a place in the Zona T and you have in galerías and you have the same music, and you have
same song.
I think you guys aren't looking hard enough experience at all in Colombia. I go, power, matic, bars like that, and listen to incredible young Colombians fusing their influences, alternative punk with champeta, with
really
creative cultural melting pot of young people. It's great, isn't it? It's fantastic.
I think it's very nice. The live, but like you have concerts everywhere of every type of music.
Lee, please, for everybody to wave.
Hello.
Hey,
She's also sending me messages on Facebook telling everybody wave at her. So let's just for one more time.
Really? There we go. Okay, so let's get back to some questions.
I stole them. Go ahead.
How am I supposed to be?
I'm sorry.
Cool. Okay, so we've covered a lot of this stuff. I think it's like what's normal, what can you expect to see. But I think interesting, at least for any English people, maybe American. How do people drink here? That's an interesting question. I think.
They've been
Drink. They really drink a lot.
Yeah, the concept of guar is very particular.
I love it. I think it's amazing.
You can argue them whiskey, vodka, tasty, like people would like it, and aguardiente is just like this real taste.
It's honest. See, I like it. I like aguardiente. I think maybe it's because I've been
used to it. You got used to it, which is
It makes me you know, it's just not.
Basically, nobody feel like I'm gonna have aguardiente. No.
They will tell you like you are having some aguardiente.
How can get?
There's no question.
Yes.
It comes towards your mouth and you have no option. It's just literally here.
And it's shots and shots.
Yeah, this could be like any time. Like the first house were 15 Colombians in this crazy house. Home sometimes and try and study, but no, they would have and then it's like have shots. It's like 4 p.m. But there's
they do binge drink.
I like the culture that, unlike in England, that it's binge drinking with a more like. I like the fact that you plonk a bottle down on the table. Everyone's what happens? You do it. You put it down. You forget about it. You carry on talking. And we drink to get drunk, to black out. There's no by the end of the evening in it. By the end of the evening, it's just a mechanical.
But I also think it's the drinking culture is as well. Like I've seen. I just
talking like Colombian experience.
In Colombia, you see people out in during daylight, and they're just like, I don't think the effects. They don't really.
Yeah, but you have said not in particular.
Yeah, I think it's much better here than in the. You see fights in the street here. No. A couple I've seen out drunk guys fighting, but in England you walk around in Manchester on 10 a night, easy.
Same in Australia. To say with how it's like a more social way to binge. It has to do with dancing because like even if you're not like a dancer,
yeah, I think that's true.
So that helps. You're not just like drinking and not talking to each other. And that also like gets out some of the alcohol.
But I know I have a theory about that. The problems in England we have is that we have a culture of going out in, as it were, gender out with men, women go out with women, and the purpose.
I do have to add to that though. It is blasphemous here if you go to a club and you don't. They will really. They don't allow it. No. You can't just dance with boys and boys. You with the opposite gender.
Yeah, but I think that's a good thing.
I don't think it's a good thing.
No, but the thing is that here, for example, because in England, I think the problem is that you have a lot. If you'd let me explain why, maybe we can find out. I think it has something to do with the violence against the street thing, because I think you have a lot. There's a lot of sexual tension here. It's clubs, it's women, it's everything. In England, 3 a.m. Everyone's been girl. They're angry, they're violent, they've got a lot of frustration. They fight each other. Here, people go out in mixed groups, like you said with the dancing. I think just some of it is some of that tension occasion because.
But then you have why did you stare at my girlfriend and then they fight for that? It's so like, I think it's not that. That's not really.
I've never seen anybody fight. People get a bit drunk and argue. I've never seen a fight.
Who would have like boyfriends and stuff.
Yeah, but they're your friends. Like
no, not me. Just like go across the room and with no purpose.
You can
No, people.
Girls we can't ask a guy to dance.
Like I've been asking guys to dance, but I mean because comparing the way of how they to dance here, Colombians, I have big expectations. So every time that I'm in a club and I'm seeing this guy, we go up, they just have like, hey, please, and then so
but as a foreign woman, you cannot because they will always from them. This is not like. Yeah, we like everyone's like fine.
Nothing because Colombian girls
maybe
don't
that's
think
foreign
that.
people.
This is how
I think that's us taking our attitude from where we're from.
Can I say something?
So.
Okay, so in Sydney, and I dance a lot of Sydney, and it's a vintage salsa club here. So in Sydney, you go, you just dance the whole time, and everyone asks each other to see, but you don't like sit down and like chat. Go out in like your group of friends, and you dance with your friends, and you sometimes. But in Sydney, I always can't, and it's just to dance.
Yeah,
and
then
here,
after the song, they just like.
They
will sit
That's
down
what I mean, like, it's very
But you
to a point, because you go out with your girlfriends and have a girls' night, because they will be like, no, but why are you just
come and take
and they will
you.
take you. It's not really uncomfortable at points when they literally just like go like this. They grab your hand.
I think you guys need to come out. I must go to different clubs because I have relaxed times listening to good music in clubs.
And they don't know how to take a note. They don't know how to
because they're like, we've seen them not take.
I'm really interested to know because I don't experience.
How can you not?
Three of us usually we go out
and people, and if we don't know, I'm here with them. Dance with you. Okay, yeah, sometimes you have people. Eventually, you leave. The worst issue I've had was with.
I think some of it might be the zone. Because you get a lot of really rich Colombians in the zone team. Rich Colombians.
But no, with Colombians.
No, but I have
Just
nights
even more
where I'm
fancy
like
clubs.
coming up to me like 5 times.
Yeah.
You had that
Every
anyway.
time I told him no, but like
No,
he
he
doesn't
doesn't.
understand it.
And it's not.
It's like many
It's
times.
many times at different times.
Okay,
And it's
so
not
what is
just-
the conclusion? You go. That's it.
They can't.
But like actually, before I came to in Sydney, even told me about that. They were like, if it's in a salsa club, they're gonna think you want something.
Yes,
Colombians
yes.
tell me this, not just like our foreign opinion.
Yeah.
That's like really, as a gent, that's like how it is.
And it's not even like, okay, you have a chance. Like, you have short you and not understanding a no obvious reason. Or you have, like, literally the grandfather not taking you for an... It's literally
This is
very
so cute,
uncomfortable situation. Also, not cute at all, but that's a completely...
Cute old granddad asked me to dance. It's quite cute, right?
Even the Colombian women, they understand of just dancing because of the dance and to flirt. Like, I was like with my girlfriend, like friends. A Colombian girl who came up to me asking, dancing with your girlfriend? Just with like my friend or with like the man who come minutes and don't understand what's going on because it's have a
I think we need to be
Girls'
wary of
night.
organisations because I think that is definitely a thing, but I think that it's
We're
a fairly
definitely
quite
generalising.
diverse. I mean, there's
Yeah.
always thing that I think a lot of it does depend on the kind of place. I think that this isn't a universally Colombian attitude. I think this
no,
is
it's subjective.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we are all like we have.
Well,
all
we're
our
talking-
experiences.
No, of course, but it's just phrases like, I mean, it's a big, you know what I mean? I'm just saying that I think in Colombia, to sub a club in the Choco on the coast, it's very sort of charged or sexual.
yeah.
The musical style, different kinds of bars and clubs, you get a different, salsa is, I don't really know much about salsa. I think salsa club is the only time people up and asking me to dance. It's the salsa clubs, I don't know.
because ever since I've been here, every time I've got a single night, there has been a point, unless, like, there has been a point where I felt uncomfortable. Not
No,
really.
then,
But here's the
it's not
thing:
as
does
much.
it not happen? You also have to think of what makes you feel uncomfortable. If you're saying, does that not happen in Australia in a foreign place? Is it because you're not familiar around you?
Yeah.
So the exact same thing could happen, but you don't look at it the same. You're looking at everything through a... So, like, for example, I'm just from when I first, you're gonna die. You're going to Colombia, right? Like clearly you're gonna die.
That's party.
You have all those thoughts, and if some in a big crowd, you tend to be way more aware, hyper vigilant to around you, and that makes you feel uncomfortable because you have to pay more attention.
Yeah.
Whereas in the same in Dallas or at home, where language around people that the culture that I'm exact same situation, I wouldn't feel uncomfortable. Perhaps it's not necessarily do something different. It's just that you feel in the same situation.
And you know how to easily dismiss
Yeah.
it. Like, you know how to...
That's
that's
like in Australia, like if you if you say no and literally just you won't ever see that person again.
5 times asking me to dance is not a thing. We say no and goodbye.
I think the thing that makes me uncomfortable of the man. Like in Germany, normally the guys are like really like, they don't really like come. You know.
But that's also
Try
a
to-
culture, which I think is really interesting. That's also a culture. When you get here, that's part of the shock that you have.
Yes.
Well, something that shows that here, like people like a dance.
Yeah.
So they,
No, but also,
they know how to negotiate.
that's
Yeah,
we have dancing culture as well, because in Australia, come dance with me. They will actually sit down and try to make
Depends.
friends.
If you're in the salsa club, yeah, they do that.
We have like 10 minutes left, and there were like a couple. You said like nothing. Please say something.
I don't know. I need to talk about positive things. I mean, do they dance?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because that's also culture that we'll talk about too. So before we get, because I already know some
Well,
of
should we
your,
get some more questions from the
So
little
if you can, so we still have a couple of questions that were emailed and minutes left. So let's kind of knock out some of those.
One person asked. Okay, so what does a night out mean? So what time does it start? Where do you go from where do you end the night? You know, what's the timeline? Alright, what's the timeline of a night? A few of your climbing friends, let's say. How does that work?
Out of a house.
Yeah, and you probably wouldn't leave.
Midnight one.
Okay.
And you're already in the house.
And drinking.
Leave the house because you're already passed out.
That's true. That's like very common. Like we're gonna go somewhere. It's like 3, and your neighbors are banging on the door.
I think that's university culture.
Yes, it's different. Like all my Colombian friends are working people, so we go to places.
Right after work.
University, like all these bars you have everywhere music. So yeah, we go to places, and it's not a beer or something first at home, and then we just then order there something and we stay. There's a lot of graffiti and also. So
maybe the only difference is that like you go from your from the house by taxi to like the party or so. I mean, for instance, in Berlin we wouldn't take a taxi.
So you get a train.
So everyone has this like taxi. That's maybe like the only difference. But I think party. But like that's also the same.
You can't walk home. You can't. There's no like certain hour. So you have to take a taxi. Where Sydney or whatever, you can maybe walk or take the night bus. Definitely can't do that.
Also to go. You are 4 people and everybody gives like 2,000.
Yes,
Just $2,000.
Yeah, let's speak. Oh yeah, we speak Colombian when we start talking like money.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's the makeup of a night out. What about after you finish it? Let's say you go to a
I
club.
have a complaint for a food place open.
It's open.
Really? What is that?
Corral.
El Corral.
Solo esto.
Perdón?
No hay.
In England, part of the culture of going out is you finish the club and the next one.
Yeah.
The food places they open when
Like pastores and places, like finishing the night like
yeah.
a nice.
See, in the U.S., it goes to IHOP, which is the internet.
Yeah, we've got pancakes on the ropes.
And that's so it's kind of like it's like IHOP. Yeah, when you leave, IHOP is 24/7. I don't care what anybody says. I don't even care what you're gonna respond. Best pancakes ever.
Yeah,
Hey, you're talking to me. I never said a bad word about pancakes. I don't care.
after you went to the club, and thing to eat afterwards, like with your friends, you to the club to like
In
here.
Berlin.
But it's like what we always do. But here, there's like so everyone just wish.
But I think if there were food places open, it would change.
Yeah, we've done something like we've gone out, we've ended at a house.
Yeah. Usually going
And it's not
domicilio,
always the
home
same.
order
Yeah,
meals.
you order more alcohol.
You
That will be
order
delivered.
us and you drink around until everyone falls asleep, but
Yeah.
lock something up and there you go.
Fair enough.
True.
What else do we?
Well, getting on to the questions that are going to make me blush. Our one night stands, Cole. What does that say? Open.
Are they
Sexually.
Open sexually.
Okay.
It says open
do
sexually.
some more field research?
I'm still not sure. I don't
Our
know.
perspective also is like casual relationships are something.
No, it's
Because
quite
everyone is
consistent.
like,
It's very
I don't think I've ever met a single con or man. Maybe they say they're not.
As we said, everything is negotiable. But even if we're having sex, that's very negotiable.
Maybe something is interesting that I have the impression that there like with a lot of young mothers, a lot of kids just happened. Well, even though because they're quite conservative, and therefore bring their boyfriends home or they have to something, and therefore and obviously don't talk to kids about like making babies, and therefore that happens. Therefore, it happens, and then you have 17-year-old you cannot abort if it was not.
Yes,
then,
you can.
Because you'll go.
Yeah, they have new abortion laws. Yes, 2007. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So now it was like endangered to the woman's health. If health includes like your mental and physical health, it's actually because like in practice, the doctor is really strong, so it's not that easy still to get.
That's about the other day, and apparently 70% of abortions last year were illegally performed.
Yes, but that's the fault of the actual law.
No, that is true, but I could be better on that. But I
Yes.
think you're right, they're not terrible.
Yeah.
I think it's also the religion as well.
I think a lot of it comes down to the social situation. If you live in a very poor, if you live in a very neighbourhood or you're a very poor background, you know, there's no coincidence that people have bigger families. I think it's partly because if you have a safe pension, a support network, who's your kids? You know, your vast network of kids. I think people want families in a lot of these small areas because it's support. Because it's very easy in Colombia to fall through the welfare system here. If something bad happens to you, most of the people you see on the street are not people. Most of them just fell through the cracks of the system, and they've issues, things like that. So I think having large families, it's a support network. It's emotional security.
To the city. I mean, here, rather the higher class.
Nice
Doing quite
Nice
young
stand.
partying, right? That the average, an average family has two in the city. Of course, in the countryside, that's different.
Being defined though, so I mean, is
Yeah.
that including Ciudad Bolivar, the Asian settlements?
Alright.
The
Well,
deeds.
yeah. Yeah, but I mean, these are things that affect the party, though, right?
Yeah.
They're still a part of. I mean, even the party that we're talking about. These.
And it's not really like a big thing.
Yeah,
here.
help to like.
Contraception, you say?
It's a huge thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can get without you can go to a drogeria. I don't have a prescription. I just say here's. So.
It's very expensive though.
And
So
that's
much-
That's
not
$3.
That's
Oh,
$3.
for pills?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I don't
He's talking about- yeah.
It's an electronic.
I'm sorry. We're talking about two different types of contraceptives here.
I don't really know if
Condoms are
Colombian
expensive.
girl like the pills, but I know, for instance, in Peru, if you're lucky, you use a condom, or you get like those like super strong injections.
No, in like the pill that you inject in the rod.
okay, like a little thing.
It releases the hormones and whatnot.
Yeah, but like
But it's quite expensive, that one.
It's okay, isn't it? It's not that expensive.
I don't know, but like Peruvian girls, like they.
It's like
Barrett, like
my friend's
not?
gotten it.
Or
What do you mean?
No, but it's not really common. Like it exists, but it's like no,
What
not
do they
really.
use?
They should take advantage.
But if they're in a relationship and
But
like
then also
the,
like a like a lot.
You know,
they just gotta.
Then there they have that option.
Let's move on. We have time for one more question, I guess. So what is the attitude? Another thing, the attitude towards the homosexuals.
I think it
In
depends
terms of
where
party,
you
in
go.
terms of
Yeah,
nightlife,
with respect to partying.
with respect to nightlife.
Which I think is here. I mean, in Chapinero, it's happy
Happy
gay.
gay.
Gay hills.
Yeah.
Well, I think Bogota has a very big homosexuality because it's very like the city, and especially like this San Chapinero, Teusaquillo. That's very common, and people are getting used to it. But like this context, like if you go out in different regions and the countryside, it's not
okay.
Which
It's
I
not
also think
okay.
is the same States. Yeah, in the States it's like that. The more accepting. Out to some of those country towns, and they're really accepting of anything.
It's partly to do with what you're exposed to day to day.
Yeah.
isn't it?
only the Bogota. It's only the center.
I think so.
It's much Chapinero.
Yeah.
Like,
That's partly because it's so gay friendly. It's a cycle, isn't it? If you're constantly exposed to gay people,
Yeah.
if you don't like them, live with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're living in the place, whereas in the rural,
like,
if you're not, you know what I mean? If you're not exposed to their basis, you're naturally going to surprising. Aren't you? I mean, I think the same in England. The attitudes aren't as strongly negative, but you got to know your people who are like uncomfortable around gay.
Well, there's Teatron, which is like the gay club
Amazing, I love
that
Teatron.
everybody loves.
Awesome.
It's
Yeah.
very
I
fun.
have to go.
Yeah.
My birthday.
It's on the list of things.
It is very good. We should do a live broadcast from Teatron.
That would be really fun, actually.
Like the just amazing because you pay once like 38, and then they give you a cup bar all night.
Yeah.
So
And
every
yeah,
drunk,
and no, but they have like 3 bars.
they have like on Saturdays they have like dance floors, and it's just like
Ever.
Yeah.
That concept
they
wouldn't
have
work.
they
out
have like women area and men a gay club, but it's
Reggaeton area.
and yeah, but it's actually like well, it started out as everyone goes like, and it's everything goes in that
For
club.
real?
Andres there, like as a tourist you cannot miss.
You can't. That was one, like what do we not like if you have to do?
Yeah,
And
I would rate Teatron over Andres.
yeah.
I mean, I don't like Andres very much.
Be
Oh, Billeares Londres.
Billeares Londres.
Oh yes, Billeares.
I think like the kind of music. I think the thing is, I don't think there's anything you have. The good thing about the city is that whatever you're into, find value. So I mean, for some people, they come here. I know people who come. Some of these really small, because some Colombian bands kind of getting a bit hip around the world these days. You know, these kind of few just want to go to like Latino power because they read about it. They're wrong because it's the second biggest gay club in South America. Just Billeares Londres. They want the cool electronic music. You have that complete diversity of nightlife.
Like cool artists. They have like different things happening. So.
Right, so we have to wrap it up now.
Okay. You're really good.
And done.
Blunt Englishness. Right, everybody shut up and turn it off.
British of you.
Yeah, well, anyway, so well, thank you.
Turn it back to you.
Lord, is that what I look like? Okay, cool. So yeah, thank you for.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey, look at my hand. Great. Okay. Hi. Episode 2 of Hey Now. We'll be back. Wait, not next week, right? Next week we have partying to do. Sorry. We have partying. We have birthdays. So, and also Puente. We also have a holiday. So yeah. So we follow us at nomads9.wic. Check our YouTube, and we will see you next time.